Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Hey friend, I'm so excited to dive into today's episode because it is a good one. But before I do, I wanted to tell you about something really exciting that's coming up this month, completely free, that I want to invite you into. I am hosting a money masterclass series on January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And I want to invite you to come to it because it's going to be an event where I'm going to teach you the things that will really move the needle forward for you around your money mindset and around manifesting more money in your business. It's going to be workshop style. I'm going to be doing so much teaching. I'm going to open the floor for questions, open the floor for coaching. It's an opportunity for you to really get some support around your money mindset so that you can make 2024 your year of abundance and you can have a breakthrough in your income this year. So all you have to do is go to the show notes to register. Like I said, it's completely free and it is going to be epic. So join me and I can't wait to see you there. Today on the podcast, I am bringing you a coaching session with one of my amazing clients, Erin, who is in the money manifestation movement, who's been killing it, who has basically created a full coaching practice with 7 clients and has been on fire. But she was ready for the next evolution of her business. She's ready to mix things up and has a vision for what she wants to do next. She wants to cut back on one-on-ones and create either a course or a group program. But notice that she was kind of stuck in fear. She was noticing that she just wasn't taking action on this vision. And this vision just keeps lighting her up. She keeps getting this intuition that she's meant to do it. So she took the opportunity to apply for a podcast coaching session so that we could do a deep dive one-on-one and look at and uncover what it was that's holding her back and discover what she could do to start taking action towards this vision. So you're going to love this episode if you are also in a place where you're ready to make a transition, if you're ready to step into the next evolution of your business, but you're scared of taking action on it because what you've been doing is working, right? You've been making money. It's been helping you get results. And in order to move to the next evolution of your business, you're going to have to change things up. You're going to have to change up what's working. And that's a scary thing for the ego and for the brain. So on this episode, I walk Erin through some practices, some mindset shifts, and some things that she can do to help her get into action towards this new vision and to manifest it and make it a reality. So I know this is going to be helpful for you if you're ready to make a change and you're just feeling scared. So tune in and enjoy it and receive your own coaching as Erin gets coached. All right, enjoy. All right, I have my client Erin here and we are going to coach. I don't even know what we're coaching on yet. She's going to tell me. So Erin, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
What would you like some coaching on today?
So I would just love, I think, some direction going into next year with my coaching business. I've been coaching about a year as of now. I've been saying all along, I do work with a one-on-one coach, and I've been saying all along, like, I see myself having a group program and like 4 or 5 high-ticket clients. And right now I have about 7 weekly clients. Sometimes some people meet a little less frequently, but 7 every single week. And I do still feel like my goal is less one-on-one in this group program. And I see myself like creating content. And I just am like analysis paralysis, kind of making the shift and maybe pulling back on some of the daily activities I'm training myself to do to increase my reach. So yeah, just cleaning all that up because it's been very consistent that this is where I see my business going, but I'm doing things to get one-on-one clients.
Okay. So what is the thought that comes up, or what comes up? It might be a thought, it might be a feeling whenever you think about this transition that gets you into that analysis paralysis.
I think it's like, I don't even know where to get started. I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then what do you feel when you're thinking that?
I don't know if it's over. It just feels kind of frozen. Like I don't think it's as strong as overwhelm, but it kind of just gets me. I mean, like some of the actions, like I have written out like things I want to share, like content I want to create, probably a dozen times, if not more. Yeah, what is the emotion? Yeah, it feels frozen.
Okay.
That's an
Yeah.
emotion.
Well, it makes sense, right? It makes sense that it would feel frozen, and then your action would be to kind of like withdraw and not do anything, is because you're thinking, I don't even know where to get started. Like that's your main thought. It's almost like you think this is somehow different than what you've been doing, or it's somehow different to bring clients into a group versus bringing clients into a one-on-one coaching business.
Yeah, I think what's coming up is I feel like I could get a one-on-one client today if I wanted. I feel like to create this course, I have to almost pull back and maybe like go into my mind to create this content for a few months. And it's like this lull. There's definitely scarcity too coming up, thinking like, and then it's all going to fall apart. I mean, our mind goes to like this all or nothing place. But I'm trying to trust that part of me. Like, this is not a new desire. Like, I have seen myself working with like very few one-on-one clients and having like this developing. And I don't even know if it's like group coaching or just like a course that I can pour into. And it's almost like I have so much I want to share. I don't even know how to kind of like break it down in digestible pieces. Yeah, there's a lot of spiraling along the same line.
Yeah. Well, what your brain is I think what's happening, and tell me if this resonates or not, but this is just me kind of reflecting what I'm hearing. And it may be true and it may be not, but just let me know. But it almost sounds like there's just some fear around doing something new. And your brain's way of protecting yourself from this fear and moving into the unknown, which you've never done a course before. So that means you're moving into the unknown, whether it's a course or a group program, having 2 offers, right? You're moving into unknown territory. You haven't done it before. And instead of just being like, well, what's the next step? Your brain, you're scared because it's unknown, right? Not wanting to move into uncertainty. So your brain is going to, I don't know, in order to protect you. Because as long as you believe that thought, I don't know, guess what happens? We don't have to take any action. So it works really well. It's a great way to protect ourselves from moving forward into something that does feel scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, I think that's 100% true, because I do think like, yeah, it's not even true that I don't know, because I do make those lists. And like, it's almost like so much, I don't know how to break it. I mean, I just want to fight for the I don't know versus just like getting started.
Yes, because as long as you say, I don't know, you don't have to feel uncomfortable, which I mean, at least you don't have to feel a new flavor of discomfort. So let me put it that way. It's not that you don't have to feel uncomfortable, because there is discomfort in staying in the known, staying in the stuck, right? There is discomfort in you saying, I don't know, because you're not moving forward, and that doesn't feel comfortable, right? With this desire that you want. So that doesn't feel great. But in some ways, you're just, it feels safer. It's like, oh, this is a known discomfort Versus if I told myself, maybe I do know. And even if I don't, I'm just going to take the next step. I'm going to try something new. I'm just going to get started on it. Well, then you have to move into a new uncomfortable feeling that maybe you're not as used to.
Yeah. I think what comes up is I feel like I have to give up something to take that step. Like it's not just like take the scary step and figure it out along the way. Cause I think I'm good with that. Like I haven't done a course. So I'm like learning a new technology to put that all together. And I'm okay with that being messy and failing. But I feel like, but then I need to pull back on creating one-on-one clients in order to pour into doing this course. And in some ways, I want to, but I also feel like, yeah, there's just like the scarcity coming up. Like, it's, yeah, it's so crazy. And yet, like, all my clients are just like renewing and renewing and renewing. So it's like, I don't have any evidence. Yeah, I don't know, but there is a flavor of scarcity. And I think I come from like a social selling background. So it was very much like, these are the activities you do every day on social selling. And I was really good at that. And I still kind of do that. And I have created some clients through social media. So I'm kind of like in this fear spiral, like I don't love it and I almost don't want to do that. And it's not the only way I've gotten clients. But I feel like if I give that up, I think there's a thought because so long with social selling, it's like it's the consistency factor. Like you got to keep doing these activities. And it's like, I'm not going to not be working, but I'm going to be doing more things like behind the scenes.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, totally. It makes so much sense. So, with scarcity, which is fear, what we want, I think the opportunity is to, instead of just like, oh, I'm scared, I'm afraid of giving something up, I'm afraid of this. So, let's pull back and just like go into this, I don't know. I think it's going to be more powerful to first identify what you're afraid of. What is the scarcity? What are you afraid will happen if you do start moving forward to creating this course?
I think worst case scenario, it's like I will lose all my clients and have no one. And like my business will be at zero. And I know, yeah, I think that's the fear.
Okay. Worst case scenario, you'll lose all your clients. Why would that happen?
I mean, the goal is that, I mean, I know for me, it's like I can't imagine not having a coach, but the goal is also to hopefully get my clients to a place where they don't need me. So, I mean, like, just that my clients that I have, they find themselves like, I mean, I don't know. It's such a weird place because it's like I want them to heal, but also like I've been coached for years and I can't imagine not having one. So I think it's like they're going to get to a place maybe where they don't need me, which is fantastic. But if I'm not doing those daily activities to kind of like bring new people into my content, then I'm just going to like dry up this well.
Well, and here's what I'm curious about. Why would you have to give up those activities just to create a course?
I think it's just like, it's time. So it's like, okay, I'm either going to spend 1 hour doing these checklists of activities that move the needle that I have been taught that move the needle forward. And yes, I've gotten some evidence from that, or I'm going to spend an hour creating my course or whatever time I
Okay.
have.
So notice, and those are two options, right? Where you can, you're giving yourself two options where it's either like, I don't create this, or I give up these activities that have been client creating activities in order to make the course, right? It's kind of black or white. It's like one or the other. But I wonder, and you may choose one of them. It's totally fine. You could choose to do that, but it might be helpful to explore more options. Like, oh, maybe there are more ways than just those two options. How could I do this without turning off my funnel, which your funnel is those activities?
I mean, I think another layer of it is like there's a lot of the stuff that I am forcing myself to do that I don't even love. So it's like I almost would like to give up some aspects. I don't mind posting and sharing like content, but there's certain activities that I would love to just give up that I think could be replaced with a paid ad when I'm ready to do that. But I also feel like I'm kind of at the place where, ultimately it's like this group program and it's not even created. So I wouldn't run an ad for I don't necessarily want to do ads for one-on-one clients. It's like, I don't want no one-on-one client. I think that's where my brain goes. It's like, honestly, I'm thrilled with the 7 that I have. But I'm like fearful that they're going to dry up and I'm going to be in this process of creating this group program and having no one. But I almost like, it's not even like I would love to get rid of it. So it's almost like I have to get rid of the scarcity and trust, like, I can bring them in other ways. I can take a pause from like, because honestly, it's like some of these clients have found me. It hasn't even been, and there's been referrals and some have been off of social media. So I don't even know how many, if any, have been from like directly from this checklist.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So with that understanding, what are you coming to?
I mean, I think like without saying it, I kind of already knew, like, I'm okay posting regularly because that feels like there's so much I want to share just with my course. It's like there's not a lack of what, it's like how to organize it. But this intentional, like, trying to expand my network just does not light me up. Sorry, what was the question? I got a little sidetracked. Like, what's the answer? I guess like, I would love to let that go and feel good with it. I would love to just be like, this, I can do social media however I want, as much as I want, and not be fearful that it's going to ruin my coaching business, like what I've built so far.
Yes. Yes. So what would you, in order to do that, to try that out, to go for it, to be willing to lighten your load on that, not have such a structured kind of checklist. And like you said, let go of the activities that you're not even sure are producing clients, but you've just been doing them out of habit. What would you have to be
Yeah.
willing to feel?
Oh gosh. I mean, part of it's like confidence, but it's not totally landing. Yeah, I think like that belief that this is the way you do things is so strong. Only because it came from someone who's obviously very successful. So it's like, but I want to like I know there's so many different ways that you can create.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be a more uncomfortable emotion. That's why you haven't done it yet.
How,
It's probably not going to be confidence. It's probably going to be uncertainty. It's probably going to be fear. It's probably going to be something around that, like the willingness to feel a little bit shaky, but doing it anyways.
okay. I like
For me,
that.
it's usually the feeling of uncertainty, like, oh gosh, I haven't tried this. I know for sure that if I do these things, I can get one on one clients, but I'm going to test something new and it's scary. So I'm going to be willing to feel uncertain, but do it anyways because that's what I'm feeling called to do. And I'm not going to actually know unless I try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the knowingness that you can always go back to it. You already know you can do this, and what you've been doing has been working in terms of client creation, but you won't know if something else is going to work unless you're willing to try it.
Yeah. I know I like that because it's like I want to lean for like a positive feeling emotion, but it is going to feel uncertain. I think it's kind of not that I've been in hustle, but it's like I was hustling for so long and I gave that up and it really was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I know I can't keep doing this. And it's kind of the same with this. I don't know if this is going to work, but I can't keep forcing myself to do it. This is just not the way I see myself doing it forever.
Totally. 100%. That's part of the becoming, right? You're like, this is not what my future self is doing. And it's scary to move into something new. It's kind of like I remember the year where I hustled kind of to create my first 100K. Like I did it through hustle and I got there and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. And I realized this is not the way that I want to continue, but it's scary not doing it because you know it worked. Right. And so for me, I was like, I can't keep doing this. It's just not worth it. I got to that breaking point where I'm like, it's not worth it. So the way that I held it was like, it is scary to pull back. It is scary. And I was like, going to lean further into manifestation. I was still going to take courageous action, but not from that place of like, I have to do all of these things and I have to check all these things off the list. Right. Like, and for me, what I held it as was an experiment. And that really helped, like in terms of my mind and I guess my ego, it helped me feel more safe doing it because I was like, I'm going to give myself a year with this experiment. And if it doesn't work, I can always go back to hustling,
Mm,
doing all the things.
yeah.
Right. But I'm never going to know unless I'm willing to try it. So why not experiment with something that my intuition is leading me towards? And it sounds like this is what your intuition is leading you towards.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to be a year. It can be like, I'm going to experiment with this for a quarter or for 2 months.
Yeah.
And the worst that could happen is I go back to what I've been doing.
No, I like that. I mean, because I am this all or nothing mindset, thinking like it's all going to go away. But I'm like, I've only been doing this coaching for a year, and I've created more than 7 clients in a year. And I'm like, gosh, worst case, it's like, and then the next year I could do it. And again, I don't even know if I would choose to. I would probably still just choose like to figure out something different because I can't. And it's not even like, it's so interesting because it's not even like it takes a lot of time, but I can just see in certain activities how like it just does not feel very aligned and I just like resist doing it. Or it takes me like, it's mentally like it takes mental energy. Like I should do this today to check this box versus like just giving myself the permission to have an experiment, not to do it and
Yep.
seeing what happens.
Yeah. Yep. And it's going to be about the willingness to feel uncomfortable in that space, right? And I always say manifestation is not just about cultivating more positive emotions. That's a part of it. That can be helpful of learning how to cultivate emotions on purpose. But I think it's also equally the willingness to sit with uncomfortable emotions. Because anytime we're manifesting something new that we've never done before, anytime we're evolving into that next version of ourselves or that next, layer of our business, we have to learn how to feel uncomfortable because it's not comfortable. We're not going to be confident at it yet. Confidence comes from doing it over and over and over and being like, okay, I know how to do this. In the beginning, we are not going to have confidence, but we have to move for it anyways before we feel ready. And that's how you manifest. It's like that willingness to hold both your fear, your discomfort, and you move through it anyways, and you go through that liminal space. And also at the same time, intentionally cultivating emotions that you want to on purpose and practicing the mantras that you want to step into and the thoughts that you want to believe, right? So we're like holding both of these throughout the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I would love like a thought because I just feel like I feel strong now, but I can just feel like it's so strong, me feeling like I should do it a different way. Or should just keep doing what's working, even though it's like, if I do look at that, is it really that thing that I'm giving up that has brought clients in? And that's definitely questionable.
Well, it's like I would even question the whole what I've been doing is working because I think as long as you keep telling yourself that, you'll be like, well, what's the point of doing something new? Let's put it this way, what you've been doing has worked up until now, but you're in a new place in your business. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not working in order to become the next version of yourself or the next evolution of your business. It's not going to work to move into what you feel called to do. So as long as you're saying, well, what I've been doing is working, it keeps us staying there, but it's a lie. It's not
Mm-hmm.
really working energetically
Yeah.
because you're not feeling aligned with it anymore. And it may have worked at one point. That's awesome, and it did. Like, look what you've created in the last year. It's amazing. But it's kind of a lie to say that it's working right now because it's not. It's not moving you where you really want to go and where you really feel called to.
Yeah. Yeah, I love when you said like that not working energetically, because we so look at like what is the result? Is it working? Is it not working? But it's like it's not working energetically. Like I 100%. There's definitely days that it feels good, but I think there's so much. It's like the pressure to keep the momentum of certain activities that just does not feel aligned.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's the thought. It just does not feel aligned anymore. That it just sounds like truth, right? Right there is
Mhm.
truth. The whole it's working is not true.
Okay.
So tell me what is aligned now.
Well, I think what's coming up too is like a lot of what the work I do with my clients is finding their own personal menu of like what's working for them. And yet I'm finding myself like so tied to what this very successful person has said is the way to do things, which is just so funny, even though I'm not following my own like alignment
Recipe.
in that
Yeah.
way.
Yep.
So no, I think that this has helped a lot. Like just shift a few things, like ultimate, because that's what I'm always saying. Like ultimate, like and like if you get into a regulated spot, like what's right for you. And I think I'm just holding so tightly to what the habit that I did for years that worked really well in terms of, and at that time I think it did feel aligned. So it was like I
Totally.
did not, yeah, I wasn't doing it, and it's now just a habit, and it's just
Yeah.
no longer working for me energetically. So,
Yes. Well, and this is what's happening, I think, Erin, too, is that you are, and so many entrepreneurs go through this at this point where now you've created the success in a way that someone else has kind of taught you, which we all have to start there because we don't know how to market and we need to learn from someone, right? So we all do it how someone else tells us to. But then we hit this point where it's like, it's time to move into thought leadership. You're like evolving into you are becoming the thought leader, you are stepping into your own authority. That's the phase you're moving into. And it does feel uncomfortable because we have to kind of trust our own instincts and our own way, which we haven't done before. And we've seen evidence of someone else's way working. But what you're doing is you're just fine tuning it and making it more you.
okay.
Yeah. So I think that's what's happening is it's like you're taking probably a lot of what you've learned that's going to, that has worked, that does feel aligned, but then mixing it with your own mind and your own intuition, your own instincts, and making it so uniquely you. So you're just moving into that space of thought leadership.
Yeah. No, I do like that.
And you can trust that.
Yeah, because it's like I could always go back. I mean, I could always create these
Totally.
clients again in a year if I
Yeah.
really need to, want to.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think like you said, just embracing the uncertainty. I think that like of course this is going to feel uncertain. Like if I feel
Yep.
like it shouldn't, that's where I'm going to get stuck.
And what you will often find is when you're willing to feel uncertain, but go for the things that you really want, most often you'll rise to the occasion. You'll actually create the thing that you want because you were willing to move through the fear and just take action towards it anyways. Learn from any mistakes, learn from any failures, but just keep going with it. And before you know it, you'll be like, I have this thing and I did it in my way and it's so awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I can see pulling back from the pressure to do certain things, and being so proud of myself 6 months later, even if I don't have like this group coaching program that's like successful and running, like I can just see myself being so thankful that I listened to myself. As with, I feel like when I stopped hustling, there was almost like a shift before things like took off too, and that like I can not hustle and create just as much results, but I was still proud of myself for choosing not to hustle. So I think it will be the same. This like I'll still be proud of myself for choosing to trust my intuition, even if it's like, okay, maybe I don't have as many leads or consults for a period, but it just feels
Yep.
so much more aligned.
Yes. That's it right there. Yep. 100%. And hold that vision of like seeing you, I would hold the whole vision, not of just the course, but hold the vision of like you in 6 months having created this in your own way and you feeling
Mm-hmm.
so proud of yourself because you went for it and you trusted it and you moved through some of the fears, but you did it anyways. and cultivate a vision around that can be really, really helpful to kind of hold on to and anchor yourself in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's super powerful. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited for you. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.